Ghana, a land of rich traditions, vibrant communities, and breathtaking beauty. Yet today, this beauty stands at the edge of a quiet crisis. From the fading rains in the north to the rising seas along the coast, the fingerprints of climate change are unmistakable. Lives and livelihoods, woven into the rhythms of nature for generations, now face unprecedented threats. But in the face of challenge, there is resilience. Across Ghana, civil society organizations are rising, voices of hope, innovation, and action. These groups are leading the charge, reimagining what the future could look like and demanding a seat at the table in the global conversation on climate justice. This is their story, a story of struggle, of courage, and of an unyielding determination to change the narrative and to protect the home they call Ghana. As government leads efforts at reducing the negative impact of climate change, some NGOs and civil society organizations have also rolled out a number of interventions to augment the effort. One of such organizations is the Accelerated Rural Development Organization, ARDO, which has championed this campaign for the past 20 years in the Gwan district in the Oti region. The Accelerated Rural Development Organization is a Ghanaian non-profit NGO dedicated to promoting sustainable development in rural communities. Its mission encompasses environmental conservation, climate resilience, and the enhancement of livelihoods with particular focus on the Oti region. ARDO, or ARDO, has worked and continue working mostly in Greater Accra, Volta, and Oti regions. It has successfully carried out sustainable environmental practices through restoration, conservation, and protection, employing indigenous knowledge. Its core conservation practices include identification of indigenous community conserved areas and other effective community conserved areas, profiling, restoring, and protecting them, most of which have been encroached and nearing extinction with indigenous tree species involved. Its objectives include to bridge the educational gap between the rural poor and urban communities. ARDO, or ARDO, also aims to improve access to quality education, ensuring inclusive and equitable learning opportunities for all children and youth, thereby promoting lifelong learning and reducing inequalities, to protect the rights of children and ensure their full potential. ARDO is committed to advocate sustainable social and economic development through gender equity and peaceful conflict resolution. ARDO, ARDO, promotes gender equality, empowering women and marginalized groups, and fostering inclusive, peaceful, and just societies through dialogue and mediation. It also works to facilitate sustainable environmental practices, incorporating indigenous knowledge in conservation, among others. As part of its 20th anniversary, a new project aimed at building a resilient ecosystem through reduction in carbon emissions and restoration of forest cover of degraded areas along the Equapim-Togo mountain ranges was launched. Executive Director of Accelerated Rural Development Organization, Mr. Pascal Benson Atigla, said the rate at which human insatiable desires is contributing to global warming leaves much to be desired. He mentioned the wanton destruction of forest resources through illegal lumbering, unsustainable farm practices, among others, have led to unlimited loss of biodiversity. Mr. Atigla threw more light on the prospects of the project.
We realized that the area was becoming degraded as a result of wildfires and dwindling income as a result of the fact that our forests are being destroyed. We approached Gower Street Foundation and New England Biolabs, who are supporting us in this project. And the project basically is supplying fire accoutrement. If I say fire accoutrement, I mean the boots, the overalls, the knapsack sprayers, including the machine that is used to ensure that charcoal is prepared in a sustainable way. That is a kiln machine. This year, we supplied 2 kiln machines, one to Lolobi, Ashambi, and one to Likpebala. So far, we have 137 fire volunteers, men and women who have been commissioned. We have planted seedlings of indigenous trees. We have the Lolobi Ashambi here. They stayed in the cocoa farms 3 days to put out fire, and that is remarkable. The Likpebala team used about 2 days to put out fire that occurred in a particular person's farm. They were invited to a particular farm to do the slash and burn so that they can do, and it resulted into something else. If it were not for the presence of about 10 men who quickly put out the fire, it would have been serious. This shows the efforts that we are all making to ensure that our forests are safe, our cocoa farms are safe, and our livelihoods are safe. We believe that nature without livelihood is not possible. If you say that you are leaving all this environment to be without giving the person food or something that can sustain him, he's not going to do that. So Accelerated Rural Development Organization, with the assistance of Gawa Strait Foundation and New England Biolabs Foundation, believes that under the Guan district, we are ensuring that we are putting out fire to ensure that our livelihoods are safe, our nature is safe.
The former district chief executive for Guan, Madam Janet Obro Adibo Goka, said the initiative is a laudable one that requires applause. According to her, government alone cannot shoulder the responsibility of development. Madam Goka expressed the Assembly's readiness to offer any support towards the realization of the aspirations of the project. She said being an orphan constituency, they lack some development initiatives to better the lot of the people. The pilot phase of the project trained 100 personnel to serve in volunteer groups. The groups are to lead in the crusade against fire-related activities through education and mobilize forest restoration activities, among others. Commissioning the volunteer groups, the Jasekan District Fire Officer ADO1, Ernest Amanda, charged them to remain true to the objectives of the group. He said their service is essential in preserving biodiversity and integrity of property in the enclave. GBC News later took a tour of the area to ascertain the gains made by the intervention in the past 20 years. Fire is said to be a good servant, but a bad master too. Fire outbreaks have caused damage to property and claimed human lives under gruesome circumstances. The Ghana National Fire Service, the GNFS, the state agency responsible for fighting fires and providing other services in that regard, has over the years proved its mettle in executing its mandate. But just like any human institution, it is bedeviled with a myriad of challenges. During firefighting, early response is very critical. The Ghana National Fire Service has often been accused of responding late to douse flames. It is against this background that more than 130 fire volunteers have been trained in the Guan district of the Oti region. They are to complement the work of the Ghana National Fire Service in fire prevention, awareness, and fighting. The training was facilitated by Accelerated Rural Development Organization, ARDO, a non-governmental organization involved in rural community development in Ghana. The project has trained 132 fire volunteers, of which 50 are women in Likpebala, Lolobi Ashambi, Akpafu Adoko, and Santro Kofi Benoit. The volunteer groups will lead in the crusade against fire-related activities through education, sensitization, and mobilization of the community ahead of any eventualities such as fire anywhere in Guan district of Oti region. The project aims at building climate-resilient ecosystem through reduction in carbon emission within the Guan district of Oti region of Ghana and re-engineering ecosystem systems, services and livelihood support along the Togo Plateau portion of the Krapim Togo range of the Guan district in Ghana. The Oti Regional Rural Fire Coordinator, who doubles as MFO for Dambai, ADO1, Stephen Agoto, charged Ghanaians to prioritize fire safety issues. He noted that this is critical in preventing avoidable fires.
I echo to the volunteers for availing themselves to be trained and to protect the community. And again, I also appreciate the efforts ARDO has done. And then because they have collaborated with us to train these volunteers to protect the communities around here. And I think it's a good thing to be done. Since we are approaching the Harmattan season, we are pleading to all the Ghanaians that nobody should play with fire anyhow, because the PNDC law 229 talks about indiscriminate bush burning. So anybody who does that and we get hold of him, the law will deal with the person. Whatever they do in here with fire, they should be very careful about it. Fire is a good servant, but tends to be a bad master. So we are praying that the whole Ghana must hear this and then follow it, and it will help us. And then we enjoy the Christmas festivity.
Executive Director of Accelerated Rural Development Organization, Pascal Atigla, told GBC News that the initiative also aims to better the lot of rural dwellers through skills transfer.
Much as we are doing everything to protect the Guan district from wildfires, let me say that there are other communities that fire can come from and come into the Guan district. The last time we had some work experience in the Jasikai towards the Karachi West district. We observed the degradation of the forest area from Tetema right down to Asukoko towards Dambai, and it is very serious. There are issues of Fulani herdsmen that are taking over people's farms. There are issues of people who are burning the forest just for the sake of wild bush animals for their livelihoods. And Accelerated Rural Development Organization is just waiting to get partners to partner us to restore those landscapes so that we together remove wildfire, ensure that the people have something to eat, so that together we survive as a nation, because our trees that we plant here is equally conserving the life somewhere. And people who are ready to go into carbon trade, we welcome them onto the landscape. When they contact Accelerated Rural Development Organization, they go to our website and get us. We will lead them to invest wisely so that their money does not go waste. And we are ready to partner the district assembly, just as they've mentioned, the schools around, and promote education so that our environment will be safe for today and tomorrow.
Dadonte Hene of Lolobi Ashambi traditional area, Nana Akutia, was grateful for the sponsorship deal and the collaboration between the stakeholders for the gesture. He said this will go a long way to sustain their farms and forests.
We know much about what fire is. We've been quenching fire when there is outbreak. So today, what we have seen today is that we've learned a lot. And then the fire personnel who commissioned the other two groups from Santrokofi and then Akpafu, we have learned a lot. And then we have to settle very well and then have ourselves breached. Even when there is any outbreak in the Akpafu area and then they can overcome that fire, they can call upon us and then we can go there and then assist them and then quench that fire. What I have for the other people from diaspora, I would like to tell them that they should come and then support us. What we need is the footwear. What they've given us walleting boots, and then that one is not effective, and then they are heavy too. We can't run when you want to quench the fire, so we need nice safety. So if they can collaborate with the others, and then they will give us some safety attires, I think it will help the community.
2 machines for sustainable charcoal making, which was constructed at Swami, Kumasi, at the cost of 40,000 Ghana cedis, was donated to the group. Some of the beneficiaries also shared their experience.
Fire has been causing us for quite a long time. And recently, I may say last year, we were inaugurated at Rikpebala as a fire volunteer team by ARDO. Really, the way fire has been torturing us over there is a problem to us. For that, we the volunteers, we do organize ourselves to Togo, our neighboring country, to educate them about fire, the way we should protect fire, whereby our properties will be there for us. When we need them, anytime we are in need of them, we'll go in for them properly.
Mpacho jumedie AS fire service no. Me so me ko join e wo ye krom Rikpebala. Me join ye no. Enya hwinti na me join ye. Eye se na eja se ade wo ye honom bebre. Nanso na ebinom irere goat any ade wo. Omo di fire ye aduane no amamo. Nanso omo ni stand na mo ba ye ansa na enhyi. And until omo ba say omo ba kire ye nanso yan kire omo a omo really this car ni ade no enti omo ba kire no ya kire omo a this time there eja hye no aba from
in the lobby Ashambi. We have managed to solve our fire issues in this place. About 3 days continuously we were in the bush night try to quench all the fires that came from the other places. So last year I could say that it was very good. We managed to solve the fire problems.
We are very proud and happy for the training they give it to us, and then also the tools they give it to us. When in case there's fire around our community, we can able to stand to fight the fire. We thank the fire officers who came along to train us and to make everything for us successfully.
Enye menye amesike abe 3 acres of cocoa nye ebi pete last year onye vevesese ntonam at the same time che evinye ove ejeboni secondary school agbememe no bobo edenamo onye ejo pe no one outala fupepe imekpe ape vinye oton yi secondary school la menye novio yata amele akpedana ARDO be ojagbagba fa train amo be ejoyi lo togbi le nu amo pe nu gbenla eji adepoto mahulonu amesisi be onino onjo na ejo pe nu gbegblede menye eyi togbe.
As the sun sets behind the majestic Ikuapim Togo range, the story of resilience and hope continues through the tireless efforts of the accelerated Rural Development Organization. Once degraded landscapes are slowly being healed and communities are regaining their voice in the fight against climate change. By reviving traditional practices, restoring sacred groves, introducing sustainable energy technologies, and building strong local leadership, ARDO is not just protecting the environment, it is safeguarding the future of the Oti region. Their work reminds us that real change begins at the grassroots level, and that with determination, collaboration, and respect for nature, even the most vulnerable landscapes can thrive again. The Ikuapim Togo range stands today not just as a geographical landmark, but as a symbol of what is possible when people and nature stand together.
We have serious vehicular challenges. Our fire volunteers, even when there's fire, how to move the accoutrement from one place to the other, like the water, the gallons and that sort of thing, because we don't have all the streams around. We have challenge with trust, even the people that we work with. Sometimes they think that we should be helping them with some facilities, but when we tell them the truth of the matter is that most of our partners are supporting us to help them do what they used to do better, not to come and give them anything too new. But they think that as an NGO, you should come and give them something. So we have that issue of people thinking that we have and we are not sharing. So we want partners. We have issues of even recruitment. Because when you employ somebody and there's no money to support the person, how does the person stay? So we want NGOs or donors who can come and support us to be able to work for 5 years. We don't want to work for 1 year and you not be able to count on what you have worked, because it's not sustainable. We have learned a lot of wrongs in terms of the environment. So we have to unlearn them. And in unlearning them, it takes some years. And so we need partners that will partner us for 5 years and more to ensure that whatever we want to do today will have a good reflection of it tomorrow. ARDO will be a name that will be mentioned in the Guan district and beyond, where we are able to cover most aspects of the region, most aspects of this nation, to ensure that when issues of environment come up, stakeholders such as government, environmental protection agency, district assemblies, we will be counted on to help them develop environmental programs. Not only that, but ecotourism. And I will say that for now, within 1 year that we have worked in the Guan district, the chief executives and their team, the Environment and Tourism Committee under the district assembly, call on us anytime that there's a program that they are going to work on. And that is how we want to be known in the next 10 years, where in this nation, when it comes to livelihoods and environment, ARDO will be counted to lead and show the way as to what we need to do.
As part of the program, the UNDP team visited some completed ARDO projects. The United Nations Development Program UNDP, led by Dr. George Austin, National Coordinator of the GEF Small Grants Program of UNDP, conducted a tour of part of Avatime area in Volta region.
When we came, the landscape was in such a degraded condition that the people were very much fed up and they thought nothing good could come out of it. So we supported them with seedlings, trained them, provided them with cocoa, and they have been able to rehabilitate the area. So 10 years, we want to come and see what has been done, and then see if there is the need to beef up or to redirect our investments so that we can further enhance the environment. We know that generally environmental issues takes a long time before you begin to realize the benefits. As we go along, we're looking at the possibility of investing further so that the people can benefit a lot and at the same time also conserve the environment. You know, this is an area which is outside the government gazetted forest area, which has a lot of biodiversity conservation. In fact, the genetic heat index is very high here. It's almost comparable to any other government protected areas in the country. Partnership was on 3 levels. First, with the traditional authorities, getting their support to mobilize the people to be able to undertake conservation practices that will bring back the environment and also ensure that we conserve biodiversity. The second partnership was with state agencies like the Forestry Commission, Ministry of Food and Agriculture, Social Welfare, Fire Service, who provided a lot of training for rural fire service activities. And then the third collaboration was with the people themselves. And the people actually were not very much organized at the time we came. So through civil society organizations, they were able to mobilize them into groups and associations and then assign to various roles and responsibilities. So these were the partners that we initially worked with. But I'm happy to note that the private sector collaboration has also started emerging. Today we saw ecotourism by a private sector operator who has added canopy walk to the natural resource, and I think that is a good initiative. But at the same time, there are a lot of potentials within this landscape which has not been tapped. So we are appealing to other partners and other investors to look at the possibility of coming in to collaborate and ensuring that we add value to the natural resources.
Your program where the team inspected projects being sponsored by UNDP. Dr. Angela Lusigi, the resident representative of UNDP in Ghana, spoke with GBC News on the project, discussing challenges, expectations, and future prospects.
In the Weto landscape, we've been able to conserve over 135,000 hectares, regenerate forests that had been degraded, but there's also 15,000 hectares of land that are now under agroforestry. So people like Mary that I met are now not only growing cocoa, but they're also growing economic trees and other crops on their farms. And this has been able to improve their livelihoods, and they're sending their children to school. Well, we've talked to the community, we've talked to the civil society who are engaged, and they're very excited to see a scaling up of the initiative. So the most important challenge is how can we ensure that the lessons learned from this project are scaled up, and farmers also have opportunities to get additional seedlings to expand their area. We were told that the drive is there, the land is there, and what they would like is more partnerships to be able to expand and scale up. I was very impressed to see that because of the regeneration of the forests, other enterprises have come up, and ecotourism is actually coming out quite strongly as an opportunity to grow. And we saw very many visitors enjoying the beautiful canopy walk, and that is an opportunity also for the next generation to learn about conserving the environment, and also for the communities also to benefit from such activities as ecotourism. I encourage people to come and visit the Canopy Walk and also other ecotourism sites across Ghana, because the communities are benefiting and they also should be encouraged to continue conserving the environment. UNDP is here to continue supporting Ghana's efforts to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals, and we believe that it's important to combine food for people as well as economic opportunities while conserving our planet. So they're extremely big opportunities for communities to benefit, and we're here to support them.
The paramount chief of the Avetime traditional area, Osie Aja Tekpo, at his palace provided a brief background about the kingdom. He expressed gratitude to the UNDP team for their support and urged them to continue with their assistance.
According to legendary history, we migrated from wherever in the east. Our last place of abode recognized as in Ahanta land in the western region. So we have a very good relationship with the western region, Ahanta people. And anywhere that our forefathers lived, they lived in mountains strategically. So every language is a learned language. You say it's the second language of Avatime people. But coincidentally, it's the Avatime people who wrote many of the Ewe books. We learned and wrote the Ewe books for the Ewes to learn. That is how unique we are in history. We are doing everything possible to protect our forests, and we want to invite UNDP and PAPIP to support the Beto platform to the letter. Avatime has 7 towns. 5 of the towns live above the sea level, 300 meters, 500 meters above sea level, and then the lowest town, Avatime, Fume, and Jokwe, they are in the low-lying areas down there on the famous Eastern Corridor Highway.
Winfred Daniel Donko is the Director of Programs for ARDO.
We are faced with some challenges on environmental issues. This is one, the wanton destruction of our forests with chainsaws and unsustainable farming practices. We have also engaged in some hunting activities which will use fire. We have also engaged in use of synthetic agro products, what you call agrochemicals. And all these things influence the biodiversity of the region. We have been working with chiefs, elders, the community members, government agencies like the Forestry Commission, Fire Service, and then environmental protection agencies to ensure that whatever we do is in line with national targets. The fire volunteers have a responsibility of promoting whatever they can do to support climate change combating. So they have nurseries of indigenous trees, they have educational programs, they have actually been fighting fire, doing community education, visiting the various information centers in the district, and talking to the people. We have also collaborated with them and then gone to Togo to talk to the Togo communities, dying communities. We share common boundaries with them, and we know fire has no boundaries. Whether it is Ghana or Togo, they cross border without visa, without passport. So we have from all indications, these two communities must collaborate to fight fire on the mountains. We also believe that the Fulani or the cattle farmers are part of the problems that we have over there. And so we have also engaged them to look at ways by which they can have sustainable feeding of their cattle over there.
The journey is far from over, but with champions like ARDO leading the way, the future looks a little greener and a lot more hopeful.